Hey everyone, my name is Leanne and today I am going to be telling you about some of the non-fiction books that I have acquired recently. In 2017 I have committed myself to reading at least one non-fiction book per month. And I think 3 non-fiction books made it into my top 10 books of 2017 so far list. I will leave that video linked down below if you are interested in hearing about them. And I'm going to kick off this haul with The Life-Changing Magic of Not Giving a Fuck by Sarah Knight. This is kind of a parody or response to The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, and that is a book that I personally don't think I'm going to get any value out of. I think the kind of lifestyle that it promotes isn't something that I would be into, whereas The Life-Changing Magic of Not Giving a Fuck sounds perfect. This is a book about ridding yourself of unwanted obligations and guilt. It's about decluttering your life mentally as opposed to physically, and it's about prioritizing what you care about. A lot of people who have an approach to life and have a lifestyle that I really admire have raved about this book. And I am definitely guilty sometimes of taking on too many things to give fucks about. So hopefully this will be a really valuable title for me to read. Next I have quite a serious and important memoir, and that is The Time in Between, a Memoir of Hunger and Hope by Nancy Tucker. When Nancy Tucker was 8 years old, she was given a task in school to write down what she wanted from life. In response to this, she decided to write down, "I want to be thin." Over the next 12 years, she developed and struggled with several different kinds of eating disorders. She struggled with both anorexia and bulimia. She left school, went back into school, went in and out of therapy, and this is a memoir about her experience of that. I have been very fortunate in my life to have quite a healthy relationship with my body, and particularly quite a healthy relationship with my weight. My relationship with food is slightly more complex, but that has nothing to do with weight or physical appearance or guilt or anything like that. But I know so many women who have really struggled with that, and I have so many friends who have had experiences that may be in some way similar to Nancy's experience. I hope that reading this memoir will make me a better friend for those people and increase my understanding of what they have gone through and what they might be going through. Next up is another quite serious one, and that is Cut, One Woman's Fight Against FGM in Britain Today by Hibu Wadira. This is about the author's experience of female genital cutting when she was only 6 years old. This was a process that was so brutal that she nearly died. Of course, it goes without saying that this was a non-consensual, unnecessary procedure. As a teenager, she moved to London in the shadow of the Somalian Civil War, and this is when she discovered that what happened to her was not a normal experience. It was not something that every girl goes through. It was here that she embarked on a journey to begin understanding FGM. Today, she works in London as an FGM campaigner, where she helps young girls whose families want to take them outside of the country so that they can go through this unnecessary, unconsensual procedure. Quite a heavy read, but I think an extremely important one to be informed about. Next up, I have a very short read, and that is Dear Ejawala, or A Feminist Manifesto in 15 Suggestions by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. This is a book that the author wrote in response to a request she received from a friend who wanted to raise her daughter in a feminist way. I'm not sure what the book is about other than that. I guess the importance of feminism in young women's lives and young girls' lives, and how we can ensure that young women and girls are aware of that importance from a very early age. This is a pretty short one, so I'm really excited to get to it. Next up I have This Is London by Ben Judah. This is a work of narrative non-fiction, and it is about the City of London. The writer immerses himself in London cultures, specifically the culture of immigrants from the poorest all the way up to the richest. He looks at the complex and varied individuals that make up London today. I think London is an absolutely fascinating city, and I can really see myself living there one day. And I think one of the most magical things about London is how diverse it is in that way. But I think a lot of people tend to glorify and idealise the diversity in London and not understand that there is actually a huge amount of poverty there. So again, I think this is going to be a really interesting and important read. Next up I have Kathy Rensenbrink's The Last Act of Love. This tells the story of the writer and her mother's relationship with her brother. In the summer of 1990, 2 weeks before his GCSE results, which ended up being the best results in the school, The author's brother Matthew was knocked down in a car accident. He suffered serious head injuries and was left in a permanently vegetative state. Kathy and her mother did everything they could to care for Matty, and it was tremendously difficult for them. But what was the most difficult thing was to say goodbye to him. In this book, Kathy describes the unimaginable pain of losing her brother. It's a story of unconditional love. It is a story of grief. I think this is going to be incredibly moving. Next up, I have Why Be Happy When You Could Be Normal by Jeanette Winterson. Jeanette Winterson is probably a writer that you've all heard about. She has written a number of fantastic books, including The Power Book, The Passion, Sex and the Cherry, to name but a few, and possibly most famously, Oranges Are Not the Only Fruit. Oranges Are Not the Only Fruit is a really important book in the queer or LGBTQ plus canon of literature. And that is a book that is semi-autobiographical. Why Be Happy When You Can Be Normal is Jeanette Winterson's memoir. It is what actually happened, although elements that may be familiar from Oranges Are Not the Only Fruit will be present in the memoir. I think this is going to be a really fascinating read, and I'm really interested to see the different ways that Jeanette Winterson narrates both books. Next up, I have Bitch Doctrine, Essays for Dissenting Adults by Laurie Penny. This is a passionate collection of essays about everything from the rise of far-right politics to online harassment to transgender rights. I don't know what more to say about it other than that. Laurie Penny is one of the most interesting and powerful feminist thinkers and writers around at the minute. I've really enjoyed all of the stuff I've read from her before, so I'm really looking forward to reading some of these essays. I might read them gradually, like intersperse them through my reading rather than reading them in one go, and I'm really looking forward to telling you guys what I think of them. Next up is a bit of a funny one, and that is It's Called a Breakup Because It's Broken, The Smart Girl's Breakup Buddy. This is a book that was really highly recommended to me when I was going through a breakup. Like, I bought this quite a while ago. I think I bought this at the end of last year, and I never got around to reading it, and now I'm really happy in a relationship. So in a way, I kind of hope this was an entirely wasted purchase and I never have a reason to read it again. Next are some books by some fantastic funny women. The first of those is Making It Up As I Go Along by Marian Keyes. Marian Keyes is an Irish writer. She's written a number of successful books. I've never really delved into her fiction at all. It's not something that really interests me, but I do like follow her on Twitter and I see her on TV now and again, and I think she's really fantastic and really funny. And these are just some of her observations about her day-to-day life. I don't know what to say about it other than that. I think it is just her telling us little bits about her life and sharing anecdotes, and I'm sure it will be told in her fantastic voice. I'm sure that will massively come through, so it's going to be a thoroughly entertaining read. Next, in a similar sort of vein, I have Why Not Me by Mindy Kaling, and you may know Mindy Kaling as an actress from the US Office or from the Mindy Project. Here, Mindy is sharing her ongoing journey through adult life, her general observations, anecdotes, all those kinds of things. But in this book, Mindy is also looking at what it is like to be a woman of colour in Hollywood. I'm sure this collection of essays is going to be genuinely hilarious, but also really important for me to understand different women's experiences. Next up, I have Sue Perkins' memoir, Spectacles. I love Sue Perkins. You may know Sue Perkins from a number of different shows, but it is most likely that you know her from the Great British Bake Off. I love the Great British Bake Off. I love Mel and Sue. I love Mel and Sue so much that I have named my boobs Mel and Sue. Was that too much information for me to reveal on camera? Probably, but I'm still probably going to leave this in. And it is what it says on the tin, really. This is a memoir about Sue Perkins' life. As I said, I think she's fantastic, so I'm sure that her spirit will come through in the memoir and it's going to be a fantastic read. So they are all the books that I'm going to talk about today. As I said at the start of the video, I'm really enjoying reading more non-fiction this year. I think it's really important to do so. We talk a lot on BookTube about reading diversely. I think it's really important to read real life stories, not just fictionalized versions, although that is also incredibly important. Another reason that I love non-fiction, because I really enjoy reading multiple books at the one time, and I think having a non-fiction book on the go is a great way to balance that. Just a different style of writing, and when reading multiple books at the one time, it's really good to have those different styles going on. Let me know down below what non-fiction books you enjoy. Do you have a favourite that you've read so far this year? I'm really excited to read some of these and telling you what I think of them. That's it from me for now, but I will talk to you guys in my next video.